everyone, welcome back. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a first impressions and sort of like a wear test video. So I'm going to be doing it on the brand Vichy. So the two things that I've actually picked up is their Mineralblend Foundation. Mine is in the shade 09. I say that but I kind of hope it matches. And I've also got the Dermablend Powder. So they are two completely different lines. So the one in the pink packaging is the Mineralblend, and then the one in the black packaging is the Dermablend. And you can obviously tell the difference by looking at the packaging, what I've just said. So I am going to be testing their foundation today, so I'm actually going to look on the website and see what it says about their foundation. So I got mine from Look Fantastic and it actually retails for £18, but they've currently got it on sale for £13.50. I'm going to start off with the shade range. The shade range is not it whatsoever, I'm just going to be honest, it's a little bit wank. They've got, I think, 6 different shades, that's what I could find anyway. So I actually got the shade 09, so if it is a little bit dark for me or a little bit light, then I do apologise, but like I said, the shade range is just, it's not it. So a little bit on their foundation. The description is, conceals imperfections and achieve a flawless base with the Vichy Mineralblend Fluid Foundation. A lightweight and buildable liquid foundation that wraps skin in a breathable veil of pure mineral pigments with a matte natural finish. It claims to have a creamy texture that spreads like butter and melts evenly into the skin without leaving a greasy film. It's also infused with hyaluronic acid, and it claims to smooth out fine lines and wrinkles for a smooth canvas that radiates a lit from within glow. So I like that it said it's got a matte finish, but it also says it has a glow from within. I've got oily skin. Just going to turn that off. So I have oily skin, so obviously the whole matte side of the foundation, like the finish and everything, I'm gonna love, because my oils are just gonna come through. I know they are, they do with every single foundation, but I also like that it says it's got a glow from within, meaning it's not gonna look dry and cakey on the skin, because that's something that I hate with foundations. So I'm gonna actually open this up really quickly and see what the packaging looks like. So this is what the foundation looks like. So it just comes in sort of like a squeezy tube. So Vichy sort of specialise in skincare. So with it coming in a squeezy tube, I can understand, because they're more sanitary, meaning that you're not going to get like a lot of bacteria in it, as opposed to sort of like a pot foundation. But I think a pump would be a lot easier. So yeah, if you're someone that prefers a pump over sort of like a squeezy tube, then I don't think you'll like this. I'm actually just going to test the shade. Oh. Don't know, it might. Oh no, it might. That might be a really good match actually. My face is obviously a lot lighter than the rest of my body, however, I think we'll be able to make it work. So I'm actually going to squeeze a little bit of this just on the back of my hand. This is why I like a pump, because you know how much product you're actually squeezing out. So it's not like a runny liquidy texture or anything like that, it's sort of just staying in that shape. It is running a little bit but not a lot. I'm actually going to rub it in with my finger first just to see if it shears out. I feel like it's sheared out a lot, because I usually use a beauty blender with my foundations, and obviously that already soaks up quite a bit of product. It looks like a tinted moisturiser, it's definitely not heavy. I'm actually just gonna dot this all over my face like I would do normally. Before I blend this in, I have already sort of like primed and prepped the skin, because I do want to give it a fair chance. And now I'm just gonna pick up the remainder of what's on my hand. I'm gonna pick that up on the back of my sponge. Looking on my hand, it gives like a really nice natural glow to the skin. So I'm just gonna start blending this in. Oh my god, that smells amazing. So I don't know if anyone's ever tried the Bourjois, I think it's the Healthy Serum Foundation, but it smells exactly like that. I've noticed it's not drying down fast when I'm blending it in. There's no like patches, but I am definitely gonna have to take this down my neck, because your girl's looking a bit white and pasty and she has no fake tan on. So it's definitely a sheer foundation, I will say that. If you look up close at my skin, you can see that where I've not blended it out, there's like a lot of pigment there, and a lot of colour, but when I blended it onto my skin, it's not really, it's sheared out a lot, but there is coverage there. It's not heavy, 100% it is not heavy. It looks like skin, I won't lie. I'm quite impressed. So it's covered up everything that I'd want it to cover up on my skin, and there is a nice luminous glow, but it doesn't look greasy. It just looks like your skin but better, and that is basically what I look for in a foundation. I'm not mad at it, I'm not mad. I'm gonna put a little bit more on the back of my hand, just so I can see if it's buildable. It's definitely not a full coverage foundation, 100%, but I quite like that about it. I feel like the mineral pigments in it are what covers up things that need to be covered up without it being heavy. And it is buildable as well, and it doesn't look cakey when you build it up. I'm quite impressed, I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite impressed. I'm just going to pop on a little bit of concealer and a cream bronzer, and then I'm going to be back to show you the powder. So I've applied a little bit of foundation, no I haven't. I've applied a little bit of concealer and cream bronzer, and I had no issues with that blending over top. It just blended straight into the foundation, which is another bonus. This foundation, I'm actually quite shocked at how nice it's looking. I don't have a smoothing filter on my camera at the moment. It's like, it's not smooth whatsoever. It looks exactly like skin. So I'm gonna actually try their powder. So again, this is the Vichy Dermablend setting powder, and this is in the shade Universal, so basically translucent. So it just looks like this. It's pretty standard packaging, to be fair. Just wanna see if it's got a sieve. Oh, it's got a cute little sponge powder puff, whatever you want to call it. It's got one of those with it if you use those. So it does have a little sieve on it just there. So that's going to be easy for when you sort of distributing the product into the cap. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. It's a lot more white compared to like the Laura Mercier translucent powder. The Laura Mercier one has a bit of a colour to it, whereas this one is basically white. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I'm going to blend out underneath my eyes first, actually, just to make sure there's no creasing from the concealer. And then I'm just going to take a small tapered brush and pick up some of that. And then tap off the excess, and then really lightly just press that underneath my eyes. For me, a powder is crucial underneath the eyes, and sort of like in my T-zone. The way I can tell if a powder works is to see if it sets the concealer in place and to see if it holds up any oils throughout the day. And it has mattified my skin quite well, but it doesn't look cakey. So you can see on this side there's still the glow from the foundation, but here it's mattified it quite well. That's really finely milled as well. It doesn't feel heavy or cakey on the skin. I'm just going to do the same thing to the other side. And then I'm also going to ding it. I'm going to bring it down the side of my nose, and then on the apples of my cheeks. And then I'm just going to set my T-zone as well. It's a very, very fine powder. It's not thick, it's not chunky. So if you're someone that struggles to find a powder that's finely milled, and I don't think you'll have a problem with this one. This does also retail for £18, but again, on the Look Fantastic website, it has come down to £13.50, just like the foundation. So I haven't actually read out the claims of this powder, but it says, apply the setting powder on top of Dermablend corrective foundations for a reinforced 16-hour hold. Microfine texture ensures that skin texture unevenness is not emphasised. Translucent upon application, it does not affect the chosen shade of a corrective foundation. Tested on sensitive skin under dermatological control. The claim of it not changing the colour of the foundation, 100% agree with. It hasn't left a white cast on the skin, and it's not changed, it's not like made the foundation or concealer any darker. It feels really soft as well, like really smooth. If this is going to be better than the Laura Mercier, I think this might be my new favourite, just because price wise. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup really quickly, put on a bit of bronzer, blush and lipstick, and then I'll be back to show you what the foundation looks like afterwards. Okay, so I've finished the rest of the makeup. I haven't put any highlighter in my T-zone because I want to see sort of if it's going to get oily and how oily it's going to get, because I know it will. Just want to show you underneath my eyes really quickly. I'm actually just going to zoom you in. So this is what my skin's looking like up close, all zoomed in, the under eyes, everything. So the powder hasn't emphasised like any fine lines or anything underneath my eyes, and like I said with the foundation earlier, it looks like your skin but better. It's got a nice, healthy, natural glow to it. I do have a little bit of highlight on the top of my cheekbones, but if I tilt my head slightly, you can also see that natural glow there because I didn't set the rest of my face. So that's what's peeking through from the foundation. So the claims of it sort of being that natural finish with the healthy glow from within, I 100% agree with. So yeah, so far so good. I'm just going to zoom you out really quickly. So the time right now is currently 20 past 2. So I'm going to check in every sort of like 2 hours, I want to say, 2.5, 3 hours, just to see how the foundation's getting on and how the powder's wearing up. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, so the time is 20 past 4, so it's been about 2 hours since the foundation's been on. Also, sorry about the audio if it sounds different to like the last clips. That's because I'm using the audio on my camera. But I'm actually recording in daylight so you can see how the foundation looks. And 2 hours in, and I know I've only been sat on my settee because, you know, quarantine and all that. But usually it'd be extremely oily, but it's not. It's just like nice and healthy. It's not cakey, it's not like built up around my nose or anything like that. It really does look nice and natural. So yeah, I think I'll check back at like maybe 7 o'clock just to see how it is, but so far so good. I am actually really impressed. This is probably the worst angle ever, but the powder underneath my eyes as well, that seems to be sitting really nicely. That's not caked up either, and it's probably because it's so like finely milled, and my concealer is still set in place as well. So yeah, so far so good. Again, this is in natural daylight with no smoothing filter on, so yeah, it's definitely not the most full coverage foundation I've ever used, but it's very lightweight and very comfortable on the skin, and it's not sticky either. When you put foundation on, it feels like almost like it's wet and it's still needs blending in. It doesn't feel like that. So yeah, I'll check back with you at like 7 o'clock. Okay, so it's, what time is it? Wow, I'm so prepared. It is officially 6:45, so I decided to check in now as opposed to like later on. And not gonna lie, this foundation is probably one of the best foundations that I've ever used. I think it was £13.50. So for a foundation, it's not exactly hella overpriced, but it's also not the cheapest as well. And for a foundation that's like not really hyped up and not really spoke about, it's probably one of the best ones that I've ever used. I have got slightly oily like on the apples of my cheeks and my chin, so sort of like the T-zone area, but apart from that I think it's really good. It just looks like a glow from within again, and it just looks really healthy, and I think the powder's held up pretty well. There's not like any serious creasing underneath my eyes or anything like that. I just think that foundation and the powder is probably one of my new favourites. I'm definitely going to repurchase those in the future when I run out, because again, I just think they're really good, and they're not spoke about a lot either. I hardly hear anyone speaking about them, but I just think they are really good. I'm actually just going to use the zoom on my camera just so you can see everything on my skin and my chapped lips. So there is like a tiny bit of creasing just around my mouth and slightly underneath the eyes, but apart from that everything's held up really well, and I just can't get over how like smooth and seamless everything looks. Nothing's super shiny or oily, it just looks again like a glow from within, and there's no patchiness, so where I've been touching my face it hasn't like come off on my fingers and left it patchy or anything like that. I just think it's a really nice foundation, so yeah, 100% will be repurchasing that in the future. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, make sure to smash it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because it really helps me out, and follow me on my Instagram, which is @RianneHudson, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!